now is about Peter and the Pope, and this is the book that I wrote about that.
आणि आता हांव उलोवप करतलो जावन आसतले पेद्रो आनी पाप साहेब आनी आता पुस्तक दाखयता तें अपॉन दिस रॉक जावन आसा हे दाखयता.
All of the groups that are against the Pope, I argued with them in this book and I answered them.
सगळे जोमे जे पवित्रविचे भायर आसात कोण भाशेन तांचे लागीं भासाभास केली आनी कोण भाशेन हांवें आमचे कातोलीक धर्म वयर दवरलो तें पुस्तकान आसा.
I did all the work for you. All the work from the Bible and from history to prove the Pope is in this book for you.
पवित्र पुस्तक खरें म्हण दाखोवंक पाप साहेब नीज जागो घेता म्हण दाखोवंक तुमचे पासत हांवें होमवर्क केला.
These books and coming to a conference like this are very good for you to get the muscles that you need.
असली पुस्तकां चड गरजेची तुमी घट आसूंक.
They did a survey in the United States of why Catholics do not share their faith.
हांवें एक सर्वे केला एक सोदपूस केला कित्याक कातोलीक लोक आपलो भावार्थ हेरांक दिवंक सोदिना.
The number one reason people do not share their faith is this.
पयलें कारण जावन आसा हें.
They are afraid they will be asked a question that they do not know how to answer.
आनी पयलें म्हळ्यार ताका भिरांत आहा म्हाका तो प्रश्न केलो हांव जबाब दिवंक नको जायत म्हूण.
Some of my friends in Bombay told me maybe it's different in Goa.
थोडे म्हज्या इश्टांनी बोमय म्हाका सांगला घोडे हें गोंयांत सारकें न्हय जायत.
Is that Indians do not like to admit they don't know something.
भारतीय लोक मानून घेवंक सोदिना हांव नोकळो म्हूण सांगूंक सोदिना.
If you ask them something and they do not know, they will do this.
आनी जेन्ना जबाब नको तरी पर्यंत तकली हालयतली.
I never saw this before. I didn't know what it means.
हांवें आदी पळोवंक ना आनी ताचो अर्थ कितें तेंवूय हांव नको आसलो.
And they said Indians don't know either.
आनी ताणें सांगलें भारतीय लोकांकूय खबर ना.
It can mean yes, no, maybe, or I don't know.
आनी तकली हालप म्हणजे होय वा ना दोनूय सारकीं जावं येतात.
And we were driving to our hotel, and the driver, this driver, John knows everything, but the driver in Bombay did not know where the hotel was.
बोमय आसतना ड्रायव्हर हॉटेल खंय तें खबर नासलें पूण आमचो जॉन सगळें जाणा.
And so we stopped to ask someone where the hotel was.
आनी आमी हॉटेल खंय पडटा तें कोणा लागीं विचारलें.
And the man said, go up 1 mile and turn right and ask someone else.
आमकां कोणें सांगलें 1 किलोमीटर मुखार वच आनी रायट मारले उपरांत कोणा लागीं विचार.
So we did this and asked someone else.
आनी आमी अशेंच केलें आनी कोणा लागीं विचारलें.
And he said, go 2 miles up and turn left and then ask someone else.
आनी आमकां सांगलें 2 मायल फुडें वच आनी मागीर विचार.
None of them knew where it was, but they did not want to admit they didn't know.
ते दोगूय नको आहलें वय तें पूण नको म्हणूंक सोदिना आहलें.
When you're a Catholic, it is okay. It's okay to say you don't know.
तूं कातोलीक आसता तेन्ना तूं जबाब नको जाल्यार नको म्हणल्यार कांय वायट ना.
If they ask you a question you don't know, say, I don't know.
तुजे लागीं कोणें तो प्रश्न केला आनी तूं जबाब नको सांग हांव नकळो म्हूण.
But I will go talk to my priest and I will go get my book and I will come back tomorrow with an answer.
हांव पाद्री लागीं विचारतलो पुस्तक पळयतलो आनी जबाब घेवन फाल्यां तुका सांगतलो.
It's okay to say you don't know, but then study and come back and give them an answer.
नकळो म्हणप बरें पूण घरा वच शीक आनी जबाब दी.
Good. Now, before I start talking about Peter, I have 2 jokes.
पेद्रू शिवलोच्या आदी 2 तुमकां जोक सांगता.
A girl named Lucy starts her first day of science class at school.
लुसी नांवाचें चेडूं पयलीच फावटी आपले सायन्स क्लास घेता.
And the teacher is an atheist.
आनी ताची टिचर जावन आसा देवाक सतमानपी न्हय.
And she gives a lecture about why all of the students should be atheists and not believe in God.
आनी टिचर सांगता कित्याक सगल्यांनी एथेइस्ट जावंक जाय देवाक सतमानपी न्हय जावंक जाय.
And at the end of the class, she asked all the students how many would like to be atheists.
आनी क्लास जातूच टिचर विचारता कितलीं जाणां तुमी एथेइस्ट देवाक सतमान ना तसलीं जावंक सोदतात.
And they all raised their hand because they didn't want to make an enemy the first day, and she was very pretty.
आनी टिचरीक बरें दिसपाक सगळे हात वयर काडटात.
Except in the back, Lucy did not raise her hand.
फकत लुसी फाटल्यान बसून आसलें तें हात वयर काडी नासलें.
And the teacher said, Lucy, why didn't you raise your hand?
आनी टिचर विचारता लुसी कित्याक तुवें हात वयर काडूंक ना?
And Lucy said, because I don't want to be an atheist.
आनी लुसी म्हणटा कित्याक म्हाका एथिस्ट जावंक खोशी ना.
And the teacher said, why not, Lucy?
आनी टिचर विचारता कित्याक न्हय लुसी?
And Lucy said, because I am a Catholic.
आनी लुसी म्हणटा कित्याक हांव कातोलीक.
And the teacher said, Lucy, why don't you tell the class why you were a Catholic?
आनी टिचर म्हणटा लुसी तूं क्लासीन कित्याक सांगूंक सोदिनाय कित्याक कातोलीक म्हण तूं?
And Lucy said, my father is very smart, and he's a Catholic.
And
my mother is very smart too, and she is a Catholic, so I am a Catholic too.
जाणात टिचर हांव कातोल कित्याक म्हजो पाय हुशार, म्हजी माय हुशार, पयशेकारां ती, देखून हांवूय कातोल.
And the teacher said, that's not a very good reason to be a Catholic, Lucy.
आनी टिचर म्हणटा असलें राजांव तुजें सारकें ना.
What if your father was an idiot and your mother was a fool? What would you be then?
तुजो तर पाय आनी माय पिशी आसली कितें म्हणटलें आसलें तूं?
And Lucy said, probably an atheist.
घोडे हांव एथिस्ट जातलें आसलें, देव ना म्हणटलें आसलें.
This is a good joke for you to tell your friends. One more joke. This one is about the Pope. Is it okay to make a joke about the Pope? This is a good joke. A reporter from the newspaper goes to visit the head of one of the religious organizations that breaks away from the church.
एक वडील एक आमची संस्था जी कोडसरून गेल्ली कातोलीक विसवेंतली तिका मेळूंक वता.
And while he's interviewing, he sees on the desk there is a red phone and a black phone.
तेन्ना मेजार दोन टेलिफोन पडयता, एक तांबडो आनी दुसरो काळो.
And he says to this religious leader, why do you have a red phone and a black phone?
आनी तो विचारता, कित्याक दोन टेलिफोन दवरल्यात, तांबडो आनी काळो?
So the man says, the black phone is a normal phone. I can just call anybody in the world.
आनी तो म्हणटा ब्लॅक फोन जावन आहा म्हजो नॉर्मल फोन खंयच्याय भागान उज्यान उलोवं येता.
But the red phone is very special.
पूण रेड फोन जावन आहा खेरीत.
With the red phone, I can call and speak directly to God.
रेड फोन घेवन म्हज्यान डायरेक्टली देवा लागीं उलोवं येता.
And the man said, how much does a phone call like that cost?
आनी हे कॉल कितले पयशे पडटा ताका?
And the man said, oh, it's very expensive. It costs $10,000 or $1,000,000 rupees.
आनी तो म्हणटा ताका चड पयशे पडटात, $10,000 सुबेज.
But it's very important to have, because when you need to speak to God, you need to speak to God.
पूण चड गरजेचें कित्याक देवा लागीं उलोवंक सोदता तेन्ना उलोवंकूच जाय.
The next week, the reporter is interviewing the Pope.
दुसऱ्या दिसा हो इंटरव्यू घेवपी पाप साहेबा लागीं उलोवंक वता.
And he sees on the Pope's desk a red phone and a black phone.
आनी तो पाप साहेबाच्या मेजार एक तांबडो फोन आनी ब्लॅक फोन ताका दिश्टी पडटा.
Holy Father, tell me about the red phone and the black phone.
आनी तो म्हणटा पाप साहेब म्हाका सांग हे तांबडो फोन आनी रेड फोन कित्याक तो?
And the Pope says, with the black phone, I can call anywhere in the world. I can even call and talk to Archbishop Philip. Anywhere I can do in the world.
आनी तो म्हणटा हे काळे फोनान म्हज्यान कोणाकूय टेलिफोन करूं येता, संवसाराच्या खंयच्याय कोणशाक.
But the reporter says, well, tell me about the red phone.
आनी रेड फोन कित्याक?
The Pope says, the red phone is very special. I can pick it up and talk directly to God.
आनी पाप साहेब म्हणटा रेड फोना उदेशी तांबडे फोना उदेशी म्हज्यान डायरेक्टली देवा लागीं उलोवंक जाता.
And the reporter said, how much does a phone call like that cost from St. Peter's and the Vatican?
आनी तो विचारता रिपोर्टर कितले पयशे पडटात असले कॉलाक?
And the Pope says, only 1 rupee. From here, it is a local call.
आनी पाप साहेब म्हणटा फकत ₹1 कित्याक हांगासान ते लोकल कॉल.
When I was a Baptist, anti-Catholic,
हांव जेन्ना बाप्तिस्ट आसलो कातोलीक बी आड,
I was a preacher and tried to get you to leave the Catholic Church.
हांव एक देवाचो तर पुरगुटपी जावन आसलो आनी कातोलीक सभेंतल्या लोकांक भायर काडूंक वावुरतालो.
And the Pope was one of the big issues I would attack you with.
आनी पाप साहेब जावन आसलो पयलो जाका हांव आताक करतालो.
I would ask you, where do you find the Pope in the Bible?
हांव विचारता तुमकां पाप साहेबा विशीं पवित्र पुस्तकान खंय तुमकां मेवता?
Can any of you find the word Pope in the Bible?
पोप हे उतर तुमकां पवित्र पुस्तकान मेवता,
then why do you let the old man in Rome tell you what to do?
सो तर मेवना जाल्यार जाणटे पाप साहेबाक रोमा शारांत रावपी तुमी कितें करचें तें करूंक तुमी सांगूंक सोदतात वा ताका सांगूंक परवानगी दितात.
Don't you know that God gave you the Bible, which is the Word of God? You can study it for yourself. You don't need the Pope.
नोकडो तुमी की तुमचे लागीं पवित्र पुस्तक आहा आनी तुमकां पाप साहेबाची गरज ना म्हूण.
He's far away in Italy. Why do you let him tell you what to do?
पाप साहेब इटालियाक रावता आनी तुमी कितें करचें तें ताणें कित्याक सांगूंक जाय.
The Pope invents doctrines out of thin air. He makes them up. He makes up doctrines.
पाप साहेब जाय ते शिकोवणो आपूण सोदून काडटा आनी शिकयता.
And I would challenge you back in my old days as a Baptist preacher. Come out of the Catholic Church and find Jesus. Find the Bible. Become a real Bible Christian. You aren't born again because you're Catholics. And I used to ask Catholics, are you born again? Oops, sorry.
आदी हांव जेन्ना बाप्तिस्ट जाल्लो हांव तुमकां इगर्जेंतलो भायर काडूंक सोदतालो कातोल पवित्रंतलो जायते प्रश्न करून.
I'd say to the Catholics, are you born again?
हांव विचारतालो तुमी नव्यान जल्म घेतला.
And the answer I got
आनी जो जबाब म्हाका मेवलो
was,
जावन आसा सगळेच भिरांतीचो.
they don't know.
तांकां खबर पर्यां नासली.
We're going to talk this afternoon about being born again and how to be saved.
नव्यान जल्म घेवप म्हळ्यार कितें, आमची सोडवण कशी जोडची हाचे विशीं हांव सांजे उलयतलों.
But I used to attack you on all of these things.
हांव हेर वस्तू विशीं आतां कोत्तालो तुमकां.
Those people in the groups outside that leave the Catholic Church,
जे सोमे कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडून भायर आसात,
they think they know the Bible very well.
ते चिंतात आमी पवित्र पुस्तक जाणात म्हूण.
But I knew it better than them, and I was better at attacking Catholics than they are.
पूण ताच्याहून अदीक हांव बरो जाणालो आनी हाका लागून हांव कातोलकांक आताक कोत्तालो.
And maybe next time we could have a debate up here sometime.
आनी हाचे विशीं भासाभास उपरांत आमी करूं येता.
But where do you find the Pope in the Bible?
पूण पाप साहेबा विशीं आमकां पवित्र पुस्तकांत खंय मेवता.
How many of you have ever been asked the question, where do you find something in the Bible? How
कोणें
many have
तुमकां
been asked
प्रश्न
that?
केला बायबलांत पाप साहेबाची खबर खंय आहा काय म्हूण.
Lots of you have been asked that question.
सो जायत्यांक विचारला तो हो प्रश्न.
If you haven't been asked it yet, you will be soon.
आनी सो तर तुमकां आसून करूंक ना, रोखडोच तुमकां कोणेंय करीत.
There is a simple answer to that question.
एक जबाब सोंपो आसा असल्या गोड प्रश्नाक.
When someone says, where do you find that in the Bible?
जेन्ना कोणें तुका विचारता पवित्र पुस्तकांत खंय आसा काय म्हूण,
You say, where do you find in the Bible that you have to find everything in the Bible?
तूं विचार बायबलांत सगळें आसा म्हूण खंय तुका बरयल्लें मेवता.
Think about that for a minute.
हाचे विशीं थोडो चिंत.
The idea is that everything that you believe has to be found openly in the Bible.
सगळें जें तूं सोत मानताय तें पवित्र पुस्तकांत आसचेंच म्हूण ना.
But even those groups out there believe many things I can prove to them they cannot find in the Bible.
जे हे जोमे जायते वस्तू सांगतात तेवूय बायबलांत नात म्हूण म्हज्यान सांगूं येता.
The Bible never says you have to find everything in the Bible.
कित्याक पवित्र पुस्तक तुका सांगना सगळें बायबलांत मेवंक जाय म्हूण.
The Bible says, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it.
पवित्र पुस्तक आमकां इतलेंच सांगता की पेद्रू तूं कोडप आनी कोडपाचेर हांवें म्हजी सभा बांदल्या.
And then Jesus gave Peter the keys and gave him authority to bind and loose.
आनी देवान पेद्रूक चाव्यो दिल्यो आनी तेच भाशेन बांदूंक आनी सुटका दिवंक ताका देवान आज्ञा दिल्या.
So the Bible says we should listen to Peter who has the keys.
आनी पवित्र पुस्तक आमकां सांगता की आमी पेद्रूचें आयकूंक जाय कित्याक ताचे लागीं चावी आसात.
And if you are taking notes, write down this verse.
आनी तुमी तो नोट घेतात हो श्लोक बरयात.
2 Thessalonians 2, verse 15.
2 Thessalonians 2:15.
It says, hold fast to the traditions that I left you. He doesn't say hold fast to the Bible. Hold fast to the traditions that I left you.
बागेन पावलो म्हणटा ज्यो परंपरा हांवें तुमकां दवरल्यात त्यो तांकां घोट रावात.
So the Catholic Church has traditions that also you are to listen to.
सो कातोलीक पवित्र सभेन परंपरा आसात जाका तुमी आयकूंक जायो.
Jesus said to the apostles, and you have an apostle in this tent right now sitting here. He's wearing the apostles' sandals.
जेसून आपले अपोस्तल आमकां दवरले आनी एक तांचो प्रतिनिधी तुमचे मदें आमचे मदें फुडें बसलेलो आसा.
And Jesus said, those who listen to you, listen to me.
आनी जेसू आमकां म्हणटा तुमी तर ह्या प्रतिनिधीचे विस्पाचे आयकोशात जाल्यार तुमी म्हशें आयकतात.
And that is more than the Bible alone.
आनी हें जावन आसा उदीक सुबेज बायबलान आसा त्या हून.
But I want to tell you in the short time we have left,
आनी थोडेच वक्तान हांव तुमकां सांगूंक सोदतां
how you can find the Pope in the Bible.
कोण भाशेन पाप साहेबूय तुमी बायबलान सोदूं येता तो.
You have to understand the Bible in its context.
आनी हें जाणा जावंक तुमी बायबल आख्खी घेवंक जाय.
The New Testament cannot be read and understood apart from the Old Testament.
पवित्र पुस्तकान नवो करार आमी समजूंक जायना आदले करारा शिवाय.
The Holy Land of Israel is called the fifth gospel.
इस्रायल आमी इस्रायलाचो देश हाका पांचवें शुवर्तमान म्हणटा.
We read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and the Holy Land.
मातेव, मार्क, लुकास, जॉन आनी पवित्र शार जावन आसात. एके भाशेन पांच शुवर्तमानां.
This was said by Pope Paul VI when he went to Israel.
आनी जेन्ना पाप साहेब पावलुसवो इस्रायलाक गेलो ताणेंच हें म्हणलें.
So there is a big context for us to understand when we read the Bible.
म्हणटच बायबल वाचतना ती समजूंक आमी आख्खें घेवंक जाय.
We have to understand the country and the people who it was written to.
आमी तो देश जाणा जावंक जाय आनी तो लोक जाणें बरयलें हेंय जाणा जावंक जाय.
We need to understand the context and the history of the Old Testament.
कित्याक लागून आदलो करार आयलो हें आमी जाणा जावंक जाय.
And the context of the New Testament and the early church.
नवो करार कसो बरोवन आयलो हेंय आमी जाणा जाल्यार बरें.
If you study the Bible without those things, you come to wrong conclusions.
पवित्र पुस्तक तर हें नको आसतना तुमी शिकल्यात जाल्यार तुमी शेवट बरो जावचो ना.
And too many groups are getting a Bible. Somebody in the Catholic Church gets the Bible, comes up with their own new invention, interpretation.
जायते जाण जोमे तांकां पवित्र पुस्तक मेळटा आनी जोण एकलो आपआपली समजणी दिता.
But it is completely out of context.
पूण ही समजणी सारकी ना कित्याक ही आख्खी समजणी न्हय.
The Old Testament is very important for studying the New Testament.
नवो करार आमी बरे भाशेन जाणा जातले जाल्यार आदले कराराची चड गरज.
Oftentimes Catholics say, we do not need the Old Testament. We have the New.
जायते फावटी कातोल लोक म्हणटा आमकां आदले कराराची गरज ना कित्याक आमकां नवो करार आसा.
Would you rather have old bread or new bread?
तुमकां कित्याची गरज नवे उंड्याची वा आदले उंड्याची.
You throw the old bread away and you eat the new bread.
आदले उंडे तूं भायर उडयताय नवे उंडे खाताय.
But it's not this way with the Bible.
पूण बायबला विशीं अशें न्हय.
The Old Testament is not old, it is the foundation.
आदलो करार पोन्नो न्हय भायर उडोवपाचो न्हय.
And the New Testament, it means it is the fulfillment. You have a foundation and then you have the fulfillment on top.
आदलो करार जावन आसा बुन्याद आनी नवो करार जावन आसा शार्ती पावप आदी बासायल्लें तें.
You cannot have a good building if it doesn't have a good foundation.
तुज्यान बरी इमारत बांदूंक जायना जर तर बुन्याद गोट मजबूत ना.
The Old Testament has to be read and understood as the foundation.
आदलो करार वाचतना उगडास दवर किती जावन आसा म्हूण बुन्याद नवे कराराची.
So that you can read the New Testament in context and not get all distorted.
हे भाशेन नवो करार तूं अदीक बरो समजतले कित्याक तुका बुन्यादीची खबर आसा.
Now I want to talk about Peter and the Pope in context with history in the Old Testament and Israel.
आतां हांव पेद्रूची पाप साहेबाची खबर करता आनी ताका सदांच इस्रायलाचे संदर्भांत घालता.
Our opponents outside will never tell you what I'm going to tell you now.
हे जोमे जे भायर आसात ते आमकां सांगचे ना जे हांव तुमकां सांगूं येता.
I want to start with this verse.
हांव होच श्लोक घेवन सुरू करता.
Even if this verse was not in the Bible,
हो तो श्लोक पवित्र पुस्तकांत नासलो
we would still have a pope.
तरीही आमकां पाप साहेब आसतलो आसलो
Because this is the way Jesus made his church.
कित्याक हे भाशेन जेजून आपली पवित्र सभा घडली.
This verse is nice because it helps us explain it.
हो श्लोक बरो कित्याक तो आमकां समजणी दिता देखून.
But it's not necessary.
पूण तो गरजेचो न्हय.
I want to take you for a few moments to the land of Israel.
आनी थोडो बहुत हांव तुमकां इस्रायल देशान व्हरतां.
I have been to Israel over 100 times.
हांव देशान 100 पावटी तरी पावलां.
I want to take you way up north in Israel to Caesarea Philippi.
हांव तुमकां पयस सेझारिया फिलिपी हांगा व्हरतां.
Jesus is in Galilee and he walks 3 days to Caesarea Philippi.
जेजू गलिलेयान आसलो आनी 3 दीस चडून तो सेझारिया फिलिपी हांगासर गेलो.
And the way I study the Bible is to ask a lot of questions.
हांव शिकलां ते भाशेन हांवें जायते प्रश्न विचारूंक गरज.
Why would Jesus leave Galilee and walk 3 days all the way to Caesarea Philippi?
जेजू गलिलेया कित्याक सोडून सेझारिया फिलिपी गेलो जायत?
Because at Caesarea Philippi there is a backdrop for Jesus' teaching.
कित्याक सेझारिया फिलिपीन आसा स्वात जेजूची शिकवणेची.
A good teacher always has props.
बरो शिकोवपी सदांच थोड्या वस्तूंची वापर करता.
Sometimes Jesus holds up a coin. Sometimes he points to the rocks.
जेजू देखून केन्नाय नाणो हातीन घेता, केन्नाय फातरांक दाखयता.
But in Caesarea Philippi is the biggest and most important backdrop or prop that Jesus ever used.
आनी सेझारिया फिलिपीन आमकां मेवता व्हडलो फातर जो जेजून वापरलो.
So I went to study Caesarea Philippi.
देखून हांव सेझारिया फिलिपी शिकूंक गेलो कितें आसा तें.
And what you find there is a huge rock.
आनी तुका एक व्हडलो फातर दिश्टी पडटा.
It is 500 feet long, which would be 1,000 meters. No, it's the other way. It's just huge. We won't worry about meters and feet. The rock is longer than this hall from here to the end.
एक खडप भोव व्हडलें बिश्टो फातर न्हय तो खडप.
And it is 10 times higher than this.
आनी ताची सायजूय व्हडली.
And inside the rock is a huge cave.
आनी ह्या खडपान भितर एक दोल आसा.
And under the rock comes a river of water.
आनी हे दोली सकयल उदक व्हांवता.
And if you ever come with me on a pilgrimage to Israel, I will take you and you will see for yourself.
आनी तूं जर म्हजे बरोबर इस्रायलांत आयलो जाल्यार तूं तुज्या दोळ्यांनी हें पळयतली.
Jesus goes there because of this great backdrop, because he is going to make a new rock.
जेजू थंय वेता हें खडप दाखोवंक कित्याक हे खडपार आनी कितें दाखोवंक सोदतालो तो.
And he said to the disciples,
आनी तो आपल्या शिसांक म्हणटा,
"Who do men say that I am?"
लोक म्हाका कोण सोदता?
And they don't know. Everybody has a different answer.
ताका खबर ना, जोडेकऱ्याक आपापलो जबाब आसा.
But Jesus says, "Who do you say that I am?"
आनी जेजू तांकां विचारता, तुमी कितें म्हणटात हांव कोण तो?
And Peter blurts it out like he always does. Peter speaks without thinking.
आनी पेद्रू व्हडल्यान जबाब दिता, चिंतिनासतना कसो.
But this time he was right.
पूण हे पावटी तो सारको आसलो.
Peter said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God."
तूं जावन आसा क्रिस्त जिव्या देवाचो पूत.
Now remember when they're there, the big rock is behind them.
आनी उगडास तर की फाटल्यान हे व्हडलें खडप आसा.
And Jesus said, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah."
आनी जेजू म्हणटा, सिमाओन जोनाचे पुता तूं सुभागी.
You did not know this about me from your own brain, but from God.
कित्याक तुजे तकलेंतल्यान जबाब येवंक ना, पूण देवान तुका जबाब हो घाला.
And he said, "Thank you for defining me."
आनी जेजू पेद्रूक दिनवासता कित्याक हांव कोण तो तुवें सांगलें देखून.
Now Jesus said, "I will return the favor and I will identify you."
आनी जेजू म्हणटा, तुवें म्हजेर उपकार केला तो हांव परतून फारीक करतां आनी तूं कोण तो सांगता.
Like you said, Peter, I am the Son of God, the Savior of the world.
जे भाशेन हांवें सांगलेलें की हांव देवाचो पूत, संवसाराचो सोडवणदार.
Now let me tell you who you are.
आतां म्हाका सांगून दी तूं कोण तो.
You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church.
तूं जावन आसा पेद्रू खडप आनी हे खडपार हांव म्हजी सभा बांदतलो.
But in English, we lose the word play.
आनी जायते फावटी आमी इंग्लिशीन कोंकणीन उतरां कितें आहात तें आमकां सारको अर्थ मेळना.
What does Peter have to do with rock?
पेद्रूक आनी खोडपाक संबंद कितें?
I used to say when I was a Baptist
जेन्ना हांव बाप्टिस्ट जाल्लो हांव म्हणटालो
that Peter was a man
पेद्रू जावन आसलो मनीस
and the rock was Christ.
आनी खोडप जावन आसलो जेजू.
But that's because I did not read it in context.
आनी हें अशें घडटालें कित्याक ताचो संदर्भ कितें कशें कितें आयलें तें हांव नकळो आसलो देखून.
The word Peter is a new word for rock.
पेद्रू जावन आसा उतर नवें उतर खोडपाक.
Some of this might be hard to translate for the next 2 minutes because it's Aramaic and Greek. But in the language of the New Testament, it was written in Greek.
आतां थोडी वस्तू मातशें आगोड लागतल्यो कित्याक हांव सांगता तें आरामायक आनी ग्रीक भाशेन.
Jesus said, "You are Petros, and on this Petra I will build my church."
जेजू म्हणटा तूं पेत्रोस आनी ह्या पेत्रार हांव बांदतलो म्हजी सभा.
Why did Jesus call him Petros and not Petra?
जेजून पेत्रोस कित्याक म्हणलें न्हय पेत्रा.
The word Petra is Greek for rock and is a feminine noun.
पेत्रा जावन हा ग्रीक भाशेन स्त्रीलिंग नाम.
And so Jesus cannot call Peter Petra because that's a girl's name.
आनी जेजून पेत्रा म्हणूंक जायना कित्याक तें चेडवाचें नांव फेमिनीन.
It's feminine.
तें स्त्रीलिंग.
Call him Petra. Peter would say, "No, I am a man."
पेद्रू अशें म्हणटालो ना हांव दादलो.
So Jesus creates a new word.
आनी देखून जेजू नवें उतर घडटा.
It is rock, Petra, with a masculine ending.
आनी जेजू देखून एका पुल्लिंगाचे एंडिंग लायता, शेवट लायता.
What Jesus says is, "You are rock, you are rock, and on this rock I will build my church."
जेजू ताका म्हणटा पेद्रू तूं खोडप आनी ह्या खोडपार हांव म्हजी सभा बांदतलो.
And so here he names him rock and gives him a new dignity. He changes his name.
आनी हे भाशेन जेजू पेद्रूचें नांव बदलता.
In the Bible, whenever God changes someone's name, it is very important.
पवित्र पुस्तकांत जेन्ना कोणाचें नांव बदलता तेन्ना ताचो अर्थ व्हडलो.
It means that Peter is being appointed to do something special.
हाचो अर्थ असो की पेद्रूक खेरीत कामाक वेंचतात.
If he was appointing Peter to smell good, he would have called him a flower.
जर तर ताचो वास बरो येवंक जाय आसलो जाल्यार जेजू पेद्रूक फूल म्हणटलो आसलो.
But he calls him a rock because he is appointing him to be the foundation.
पूण तो ताका खोडप म्हणटा कित्याक गोट बुन्यादीचेर घाल्ले पेद्रूचें जिवीत ताका जाय.
Now Peter is the rock, and behind him is a huge rock.
पेद्रू जावन आसा खोडप आनी पेद्रूच्या फाटल्यान आसा खरेंच व्हडलें खोडप.
And Jesus said, "The gates of hell will not prevail against me, against you."
आनी जेजू म्हणटा नरकाच्यो दारवटे तुका तुजे जैत वचचे ना.
In the big rock is a cave, a huge cave.
ह्या व्हडले खोडपांत भितर आसा एक दोल.
At the time of Jesus, it was full of water and there was no bottom.
जेजूचे तेंपार उदकान भरलेली आसली आनी सकयल पर्यंत तुका दिश्टी पडनासलें.
And the pagans called that cave the gates of hell.
आनी हून भारती ताका म्हणटाले तो जावन आसा म्हूण दारवटो पाताळाचो इफेर्नाचो.
In front of the cave was a huge white temple dedicated to the Emperor Caesar Augustus.
आनी ह्या खोडपाचे मुखार आसलें एक व्हडलें मंदीर सेझर आगुस्तुस पादशाक भेटयल्लें.
And the pagans would walk through the temple with a living sacrifice and throw it into the cave, and it would go down into the water.
आनी हून भारतीय लोक भितर सरतालो बलिदान घेवन आनी वयर उडयतालो आनी मागीर तो उदकान पडटालो.
It was a sacrifice to the gods. It was the entrance into the netherworld, or the underground world of the gods.
हें जावन आसलें बलिदान देवांक आनी जेन्ना तें उदकान सकयल वेतालें एके भाशेन देवांक तें पावतालें.
Isn't it interesting that Jesus takes Peter to a rock to name him rock, and in front, oh, go ahead.
अशात न्हय की जेजू पेद्रूक खोडप कसो दवरता म्हूण.
And inside the rock is a cave called the gates of hell.
आनी ह्या खोडपा भितर आसा दोल आनी थंय जोर.
And in front of the cave is a temple, like a false church.
आनी दोली मुखार आसा हें व्हडलें मंदीर धवें मंदीर.
They come to worship in a false church to a false Lord.
लोक पेटोंक येता फाल्स देवाक फाल्स सुवातेर.
Jesus is saying, I am going to build my true church.
आनी जेजू म्हणटा हांव म्हजी खरी सभा बांदूंक वेता.
And there you will worship the true Lord.
आनी थंय तूं खरे देवाक बसतलय.
And I will build this church.
आनी हांव ही पवित्र सभा बांदतलो.
Not on this fake evil rock,
न्हय एका बिश्ते सादे कोडपार,
but on the new rock I will establish.
पूण नवे कोडपार जे हांव बांदतलो.
At this rock there was also pagan worship.
ह्या खोडपाचेर ओनबार तेंच्यो भजवणी आसतले.
Not only did they offer living sacrifices to the pagan gods,
न्हय फकत ते जिवे बलिदानां भेटयतालीं ह्या ओनबारती देवांक,
but they also came there to worship the god Pan.
पूण तीं येतालीं ह्या फाल्स देवांक भेट करूंक.
And they would dance in front of the gods and sing and worship them.
आनी तीं देवा मुखार नाचतालीं गायतालीं आनी भाशेन आपलें भजवण देवांक करी.
And the one god that was there, the number one god,
आनी पयले वयले देवाक
was Pan, the Greek god Pan.
जावन आसलो ग्रीक देव पान.
And do you know what the Greek god Pan was the god of?
आनी हो ग्रीक देव पॅन कित्याचो देव तो जाणात तुमी?
He was the god of sheep and shepherds.
तो जावन आसलो देव शेळयांचो आनी गोवड्यांचो.
This city was even called at one time Panias, the city of Pan.
आनी शाराक पर्यंत नांव आसलें पानियस.
And so Jesus is saying, not only am I going to build my true church
आनी जेजू म्हणटा न्हय फकत हांव म्हजी खरी सभा बांदूंक वेता
on the true rock, worshiping the true Lord,
आनी हें खरें कोडप जें खरें देवाक बसतलें,
but also we do not need the false god of sheep and shepherds.
पूण हे फाल्स देव आहात ते तांची आमकां गरज ना.
I am the god of sheep and shepherds.
कित्याक हांव जावन आसा म्हणून देव सगळे गोवड्यांचो आनी शेळयांचो.
And I am appointing you, Peter, to be the shepherd of my people.
आनी हांव म्हज्या शेळयांचेर तुका पदवी दिता.
All of this you can see at the big rock at Caesarea Philippi.
आनी अजून पर्यंत व्हडलें खोडो तुमकां सेसरिया फिलिपीन दिश्टी पडटा.
And if Catholics understood what was there, how to interpret the Bible correctly,
आनी तुमचे कातोलीक जाण आसले बायबलाची खरी समजणी हे कोडपार पडून
they would understand this foundation and never leave the church.
ती बुन्याद कितें ते जाण आसली आनी सोंपेपणी भावार्थ सोडिनासली.
But I guarantee to you, those who leave the Catholic Church
पूण आसतरात जीं कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडटात
do not know any of this.
हें सारकें नकळो.
I went there and studied it for myself so I could come here and tell you about the Pope.
हांव थंय गेलो आनी शिकलो देखून मोशान तुमकां हाचे विशीं समजणी दिवंक जाता.
When Jesus is done talking about the church and the rock and the gates of hell,
जेन्ना जेजू पवित्र सभा कोडप हाची खबर करता,
he says, I will give you, Peter, the keys of the kingdom.
तो म्हणटा पेद्रू हांव तुका हे राजाच्यो चाव्यो दितलो.
When I was a Protestant, I thought I knew what the keys of the kingdom meant.
हांव जेन्ना प्रोटेस्टंट आसलो हांव जाण आसलो हे चाव्यो म्हणजे कितें तें हांव सारको नकळो आसलो.
Because I read it out of its historical context.
कित्याक हांव ताचो इतिहासीक बाजू नकळो आसलो.
I thought the keys were giving to everyone.
हांवें चिंतलें की ह्यो चाव्यो सगल्यांक दिल्यात म्हूण.
And the keys were the simple Protestant gospel.
आनी म्हाका दिसलें चाव्यो म्हळ्यार हो चालतो प्रोटेस्टंटचो वर्तमान.
If you find Jesus and ask him to come into your heart and be your savior, that's the gospel.
हांवें चिंतलें की जेजू वेंगोवप जेजून तियोप म्हळ्यार सगलें.
And if I tell you to find Jesus
आनी जर तर हांवें तुमकां सांगलें जेजूक सोदात
and you believe,
आनी तुमी तो सोत मानलें,
then I took the keys of the gospel and opened the gates of heaven so you Catholics could leave the Catholic Church and get into heaven.
आनी भाशेन हांवें दारवंटो उगडलो आनी तुमी कातोलकान खरे जोम्यान भितर सरलीं अशें.
That's what the opponents think. They have the keys. They're trying to open the door so you can get out and get to heaven.
आमचे विरोधी आहात ते भाशेन सांगतात आमचे लागीं दाराच्यो चाव्यो आहात आमी उगडटात तुमी येयात म्हूण.
But this is out of context. It's stupid.
पूण ही समजणी सारकी ना, आख्खे संदर्भान ना.
It's taking this whole passage out of the context of history of the Jewish people.
अवतारो ती थंयचो काडटात आनी कुशीन ताची समजणी दितात.
When Jesus said keys of the kingdom, it meant something to Jews.
जेन्ना जेजू राजाच्यो चाव्यो म्हणटा तो कितें तरी सांगूंक सोदता.
Every king had a kingdom.
एकेका राजाक आपलें राज्य आसलें
And every king had a court with men who were serving under him.
आनी एकेका राजान दरबार आसलो आनी जायते मनीस हे दरबारान काम करी.
And the king's number one man was called the royal steward.
आनी राजाचो पयलो मनीस जावन आसलो रायाड कारबारी.
And when the king became the king and sat on his throne,
आनी जेन्ना राजा आपले सदरेर बसतालो
he gave the keys to his vice president or his vice regent.
आपणाची सेवा करपी कारबाऱ्या लागीं चाव्यो दितालो.
And in the days of the Old Testament,
आनी आदले कराराच्या दिसांनी
the keys were not small, they were large.
चाव्यो धाकट्यो नासल्यो तांचे भाशेन व्हडल्यो चाव्यो.
Because the gates were thick and they had to slide these long keys in through a hole to open the gates.
कित्याक दारोवंटे व्हडले आसले आनी भितर सरूंकूय सोंपे आसले.
They were made of wood and he would carry them over his shoulder and they would go almost to the ground.
हे दारोवंटे चाव्यो व्हडल्यो आसल्यो आनी ते व्हरूंकूय जाय तो कास्तीक पडटालो.
And the king's representative would strut through the streets with the keys and everyone would bow to him when he went by.
आनी राजाचो प्रतिनिधी चाव्यो घेतना सगलो हाजीर आसलो लोक ताका नमस्कार ताका मान बागाय.
And there were not 1 million men with the keys, only one.
आनी जायते लोकां लागीं चाव्यो नासल्यो फकत एका मनशा लागीं.
When Jesus became the king, he appointed Peter to be his royal steward.
आनी जेन्ना जेजू राजा जालो ताणें आपलो प्रतिनिधी कसो पेद्रूक नोमयाल्लो.
Peter the keys of the kingdom,
ताणें पेद्रू लागीं हे राजाच्यो चाव्यो दिल्यो.
which means that when the king is out fighting a war,
आनी हाचो समज असो जेन्ना राजा भायर झुजाक गेल्लो आसा
the royal steward was in charge of the kingdom.
हो जो कारबारी आसलो ताचे लागीं राजाच्यो चाव्यो आसतल्यो आसल्यो.
Jesus is a Jewish king, not a British king, and not an American king, and not an Indian starting a new group.
जेजू जावन आसा जुदेवांचो राजा आनी न्हय भारतीय ओ इंग्लंडी राजा.
What kind of king is Jesus?
जेजू कसलो राजा जावन आसा?
He is the king of Israel.
तो जावन आसा इस्रायलाचो राजा.
So we need to know what do kings of Israel do?
देखून आमी जाणा जावंक जाय इस्रायलचे राजा कितें करताले ते.
Kings of Israel give their keys to their number 2 man, and then when they leave, the number 2 man is in charge.
आनी इस्रायलचे राजा जेन्ना आपूण भायर सरताले आपणा सकयल आसले कारबाऱ्या लागीं चाव्यो दिताले.
John 14, chapter 14, verse 1 says, I am going to leave you. I go to prepare a place for you.
जो 14 विसर पयलो आमकां म्हणटा हांव वेता पूण तुमकां हांव शारुती दवरतां.
The king is leaving on a mission,
राजा एका वावराक मिसावान पयस वेता
going back to heaven.
पोत्तून बापाशी वेता.
Who does he appoint as the royal steward to be in charge of his kingdom on earth while he is gone?
आनी आपूण गेल्लो आसतना हांगा कोणाक कारबारी कसो दवरता?
Maybe the little sect down the street?
ते जोम्यांक तुवें रस्त्यार आसले जोम्यांक?
Jesus gave the keys to one man, to Peter.
जेजू आपल्यो चाव्यो एका मनशाक दवरता.
And what do keys represent?
आनी ह्या चाव्यांचो अर्थ कितें?
Can I go right now and get in your car and drive to your house and take over your house?
हांवें चाव्यो वापरून तुज्या घरान वचूं येता आनी वस्तू घेवं येता?
I cannot,
म्हज्यान जायना.
because you have the keys.
कित्याक घराच्यो चाव्यो तुजे लागीं आसात.
And those keys represent exclusive dominion.
आनी चाव्यो दाखयतात की हें सगळें तुजेंच म्हूण.
Because you have the keys, you are in charge of your car and your house.
ह्यो चाव्यो आसात म्हणटूच दाखयता की तूं जावन आसा म्हूण कारबारी सगळ्याचो.
But if you say to me, Steve, I am going away on a vacation, I will give you the keys to my car and my house.
आनी जर तर तूं म्हाका सांगता स्टीव हांव भायर वेता म्हणटच चाव्यो सगळ्यो तुजे लागीं दिता.
Now while you are gone, I am in charge of your house and your car.
जेन्ना तूं पयस गेला तेन्ना हांव जावन आसा कारबारी तुज्या घराचो तुज्या मोटराचो.
The keys of the kingdom belong to the king, who is Jesus Christ.
राजाच्यो चाव्यो जावन आसात राजाच्यो जावन आसा जेजू क्रिस्त.
But since he went to heaven and is not here, he gave the keys to Peter to be in charge of his kingdom.
पूण जेन्ना तो स्वर्गार गेलो, स्वर्गार चडूत गेलो, ह्या राज्याच्यो चाव्यो ताणें पेद्रो लागीं दिल्यो.
And in the Bible it says, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, what you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven.
आनी देखून पवित्र पुस्तकान आसा जें कितें तूं संवसारांत बांदशी तें संवसारांत बांदलेलें आसतलें.
Those who leave the Catholic Church do not know what that means.
कातोलीक पवित्र सभा सोडून वेतात ताचो अर्थ कितें तें ती नकळत.
It was legal terms used by Jewish rabbis.
हो जावन आसला खेरीत उतरां जीं जुदेवांचे गुरुजी वापरताले.
In the context of Israel in the Old Testament,
आनी हें जावन आसलें संदर्भान इस्रायलच्या संदर्भान आदल्या कराराच्या संदर्भान.
bind and loose means that whoever has that authority has power.
बांदूंक आनी सुटका दिवंक म्हणजे हें दिवं येता फकत जाका पदवी आसा ताणेंच.
They have authority to make rules and to judge them.
ताका पदवी आसा कायदे करूंक आनी तेच भाशेन मनसुबी करूंक.
They has the authority to bring people into the community or to excommunicate them out.
ताका जबाबदारी आसा लोकांक भितर घेवंक वो लोकांक भायर घालूंक.
It's the authority to proclaim sins forgiven.
आनी ताका आसा पदवी पातकां भोगसली म्हूण दाखोवंक.
Jesus gave that to one man, Peter, with the keys in a special way.
जेसून हें काम एका मनशाक दिलें पेद्रूक आनी ताचे तांय चाव्यो दिल्यो.
But in Matthew chapter 18,
पूण माथ्याचे शुवर्तमानान 18व्या विसरान
it says that he also gave to the apostles or to their bishops, to the bishops, also a similar authority.
आमकां सांगून दिलां की पदवी आसा बाब साहेबाक तेच भाशेन बिस्व साहेबाक.
The other apostles did not get the keys. Only Peter has the keys.
सगल्या आपोस्तलां लागीं ह्यो चाव्यो नासल्यो फकत पेद्रू तांय.
But the other 11 apostles and their successors, and by the way, we have one with us today.
आनी दुसरे 11 आपोस्तल आनी तांचे फाटल्यान आयलेत ते आनी आमचो बिस्प साहेबाक आसा.
As a college of bishops in union with Peter the Pope, they have the authority also to bind and loose.
सगळे बिस्प बराबर ताका आसा पदवी बांदूंक आनी सुटका दिवंक.
That gives them, under the name of Jesus and by his own authority,
आनी सगळे ते जेजूचेच पदवेन करतात.
within their diocese,
आपआपले दिवसेजीन
to act as the one who can bind and loose.
आपआपले दिवसेजीन हें काम बांदपाचें सुटका दिवपाचें ते करतात.
The Pope in Rome has a chair
पाप साहेब रोमा शारान ताका कोदेल आसा
called the chair of Peter.
आनी ताका आमी पेद्रूची कोदेल म्हणटा.
But every bishop also has a chair.
पूण सगळे बिस्पांकूय एक कोदेल आसा.
He represents the apostles and Jesus in his diocese.
तो आपोस्तलांची आनी जेजूची खातीर आसा आपआपल्या धर्म प्रांतान.
Do you know why the bishop's main church is called a cathedral?
जाणात तुमी बिस्पाचे मुखेल इगोर्जेक कॅथेड्रल म्हणटात कित्याक तें?
Because in biblical times a chair was called a cathedra. The name of a chair was cathedra.
कित्याक पवित्र पुस्तक बरयलां तेन्ना ही मुखेल कोदेलीक कॅथेड्रा म्हणटाले.
And the word cathedral comes from the word chair, cathedra.
आनी कॅथेड्रल हें उतर हे कॅथेड्रा उतरांतल्यान येता मुखेल कोदेल.
The bishop has a cathedra and his cathedra is in his cathedral.
आनी बिस्पाक एक मुखेल कोदेल आसा आनी कोदेल आमी कॅथेड्रलान पयल्या व्हडली कोदेल ती.
And with Peter and the apostles, with the Pope and the bishops, he has authority in his diocese to act for Jesus Christ in union with the Pope and the whole church.
आनी बिस्पाक आसा पदवी आपआपले दिवसेजीन आनी पाप साहेबाक आपले संवसारान हें काम जेजूचें करूं.
Let me tell you about the first time I met my first bishop.
म्हाका पयलोच बिस्प मेवलो तेन्ना कितें घडलें तें सांगता हांव.
I had just become a Catholic.
हांव निकतोच कातोलीक जाल्लो
And I was in the Mass, sitting in the middle.
आनी हांव मिसाक हाजीर आसलो मदेंच बसलेलो.
And the Mass was starting and the procession was coming up the aisle.
मीस सुरू जातालें आनी मिरवणूक येताली.
When I tell the story, your bishop will be glad I am not in his diocese.
आनी बिशप कुशाल जातलो कित्याक हांव ते तुजे दिवसेजींतलो न्हय म्हूण.
I had just become a Catholic. I was so excited.
हांव निकतोच कातोलीक जाल्लो हांव इतलो खुशाल जालो
I cried when I saw my first priest. What do you think I would do when I see my bishop?
पयलो पाद्री पयला तेन्ना जोतूर हांव रडलेलो आतां पयलो बीस पडयतना कितें करतलो हांव
When the bishop started coming up the aisle, I was overcome with emotion.
जेन्ना बीस साहेब फुडें आयलो हांव सगळोच काळजामोलान बोल्लो
This man is an apostle in the succession all the way back to the apostles by laying on of hands.
बीस साहेब जावन आसा आपोस्तलांचो प्रतिनिधी आनी ताची रात दवरून ताका बीस केला
I was so excited. I got out of my seat and I ran to the back.
हांव इतलो खुशाल जालो की हांव धांवन फाटल्यान गेलो
I stopped the procession.
हांवें पुरसांव बंद केलें
I grabbed the bishop and I hugged him.
हांवें बिस्पाक वेंग मारली
And I said, thank you for being a bishop. Thank you for being an apostle. Thank you for letting me be a Catholic.
आनी हांवें ताका म्हणलें तूं बिस्साय देखून तुका हांव आर्गां दितां आनी म्हाका कातोलीक जावंक परवानगी दिली देखून दिनवास तुका
And then right in the middle, stopping this procession, I knelt, I kissed his ring and I cried.
आनी हांवें पुरसांव बंद करून दिमी मोडून ताचो उमो घेतलो
And people said, Steve, you made a fool of yourself.
आनी लोक म्हणटालो स्टीव हें तुजें पिशेपण कशें
And I would do it again today.
आनी आज पर्यंत नव्यान हांव करतलो तेंच
I love being a fool for Christ.
हांव क्रिस्ता पासत पिसो जावं खुशाल
But why did I do this?
पूण कित्याक हांवें केलें जाय तशें
I had never seen my bishop or any bishop before.
हांवें केन्नाच आदी बिस्पाक पडूंक ना
I will never get another chance to see him for the first time.
आनी पयलीच पावटी आनीक एक पावटी पडूंक म्हाका संदी मेवची ना
And I had ridiculed and taunted the Catholic Church.
आनी हांवें कातोल पवित्र सभेक ताची फकाणां केल्ली त्रास दिल्ले
I had been your enemy and I'd make fun of the Pope and the bishops.
हांवें पाप साहेबाचो दुस्मान आहलो ताची फकाणां केल्ली
And what better way for me to announce that I was a faithful Catholic in obedience to the Church
आनी कितलें गौरव म्हाका सांगूंक की हांव कातोलीक जाला आनी विश्वासी पाटलावदार कातोल पवित्र सभेचो
than to kneel and kiss the ring of my bishop.
आनी दिमी घालून हांवें बिस्पाची मुदेचो उमो घेतलो
I want everybody in that room to know that I become a Catholic.
सगळे कुडान आसलेल्यांक सगळ्यांक तुवें आसलेल्यांक जाणा जावंक जाय आसलें की हांव कातोलीक जाला म्हूण
I wanted the whole world to know I was a Catholic.
सगळे लोकांक कळलेलें जाय आसलें की हांव कातोलीक जाला म्हूण
I wasn't playing Catholic to do what, follow the doctrines and morals I want.
हांव जाल्लो कातोलीक इगोर्जमातीच्यो शिकवणो ताची सदांच विश्वासी रावं
I used to be a Protestant outside.
हांव प्रोटेस्टंट आसलो आनी भायर आसलो पवित्र सभेचे गोपांतलो
I am not going to come into the church to be a Protestant or a protester.
हांव इगोर्जेन कातोल पवित्र सभेन येवंक ना परतून प्रोटेस्ट मारूंक
By kissing the ring of my bishop, I made a statement to all of the heavenly world and to the devil himself.
हांवें बिस्पाचे मुदयेचो उमाव घेवन एके भाशेन संवसारान आनी वयल्या पदव्यांक हांवें दाखयलें
That for this moment on, I was a loyal member of the Catholic Church in obedience to my bishop, and no longer would I make fun of the Catholic Church, I would love and defend her.
कित्याक आयच्यान हांव विश्वासी चाकर जेसूचो आनी ह्या फुडें म्हजें काम जातलें कातोल पवित्र सभेक सदांच डिफेंड करून
Deo Bore Coram. So I will continue now talking about Peter. We talk about succession.
हांव पेद्रू उपरांत कोण भाशेन पेद्रू आयलो तें तुमकां सांगलें
Even some Protestants will say, okay, Peter was special.
जायते प्रोटेस्टंट म्हणटात ओके पेद्रू बरें आसा
But once Peter died, that was the end.
पूण पेद्रू मेले उपरांत हें सगळें काबार जालें
Peter was given the keys,
पेद्रूकच चावयो दिल्ल्यो
but Jesus did not give them to Pope Benedict.
पूण जेजून पाप साहेब बेनेडिक्ट दिवंक ना
Because Jesus already left 2,000 years ago.
कित्याक 2000 वर्सां जालीं जेजू केल्यार
If Jesus gave Peter the keys, okay,
जेजून तर पेद्रूला चावयो दिल्ल्यो बरें आसा
but why do you believe in succession?
पूण कित्याक आज पर्यंत पाप साहेब आसा म्हूण तुमी सत मानतात
Only a fool would ask this question.
फकत एक पिसो आसा तो प्रश्न करतलो
Because they don't understand the context of the Bible and the history of Israel.
कित्याक ह्या लोकांक समजना पवित्र पुस्तक कितें इस्रायलचो संदर्भ कितें तें
Here's another verse you should write down.
आनीक एक श्लोक तुमी बरोवंक जावो
Isaiah 22, verse 22.
इसाइयास 22:22
It says, it's about the steward of Israel.
ती जावन आसा कारभारी इस्रायलचे कारभारियाचे विशीं.
Every king had the steward with the keys.
दर एका राजाक आसलो कारभारी चाव्यो घेवन.
And what would happen if the steward would die or be replaced?
आनी हो कारभारी मेलो जाल्यार कितें जातलें? दुसरो कोणूय ताचे जाग्यार आयल्यार
Did they throw the keys away?
त्यो चाव्यो भायर उडयतलो,
Or did they appoint a new man to carry the keys to succeed the first?
ओ नवे मनशाक तुवें घालतले जेजूचो पाटलाव करूंक.
In the United States, the president has over his desk the seal of the presidency.
अमेरिकेचे राष्ट्रपतीचे वयर आसा ताचो शिक्को आसा राष्ट्रपती कसो.
When the president dies, do we throw away the seal of the presidency?
राष्ट्रपती मेलो जाल्यार हो जो राष्ट्रपतीचो वयर शिक्को आसा तो भायर उडयता आमी.
George Washington was our first president.
जॉर्ज वॉशिंग्टन जावन जालो अमेरिकेचो पयलो राष्ट्रपती.
When he died, did we throw the presidency away?
आनी तो मेल्या उपरांत आमी ताचे वयर शिक्को आसलो तो भायर उडयलो.
Or was it an office that was to continue through the history of the United States?
ओ ही ऑफिस आसा ती सदांकाल चालू उरतली आसली राष्ट्रपतीची.
When Jesus appointed Peter the royal steward, when Peter dies,
जेन्ना जेजून पेद्रूक कारभारी केलो, पेद्रू मेल्या उपरांत
do you think Peter just threw the keys in the fire?
पेद्रूने चाव्यो सगळे उज्यान उडयल्यो काय?
Or did the king have a successor to carry the keys for the next generation?
जे भाशेन राजाक एक कारभारी आसता आनी तो चाव्यो फुडल्या राजाक दिता.
When Jesus appointed Peter,
जेन्ना जेजून पेद्रूक नम्याल्लो,
he did not just appoint a man,
जेजून फकत एक सादे मनशाक घालूंक ना,
he established an office.
ताणें एक ऑफिस कशी स्थापन केली.
And that office was intended to go on until the end of time.
आनी जी ऑफिस आहली ती चालू उरूंक जाय आहली संवसाराचे शेवट पर्यंत.
That's why we have a pope today,
देखून आमकां आयज पर्यंत पाप साहेब आसा.
number 265, steward carrying the keys, number 265, all the way from Peter.
आयज पर्यंत पेद्रू साकून 265 पाप साहेब जाल्यात.
The kingdom of God still has a royal steward with the keys.
देवाच्या राजाक अजून पर्यंत एक राजकीय कारभारी आसा चाव्यो घेवन.
Jesus did not abandon his church to just everybody with their own Bible.
जेजून आपली पवित्र सभा सोडूंक ना आनी जोण एकल्याक बायबल घेवन राव म्हूण सांगूंक ना.
At the end, before he rose up into heaven,
स्वर्गार वेचे आदी
having already promised to give him the keys and the power to bind and loose,
पेद्रूक बासावणी केल्या उपरांत चाव्यो दिल्या उपरांत
he grabs Peter by the Sea of Galilee and says, "Come here."
तो पेद्रूक गालिल्याच्या दर्या देगेर दवरता आनी म्हणटा,
And he says, "Do you love me?" And Peter says, "You know I love you."
पेद्रू तुमचो मोग कोत्ताय? आनी पेद्रू म्हणटा, "हय सायब हांव जाणाय."
And 3 times Jesus said,
3 पावटी जेजू पेद्रूक विचारता,
"Feed my sheep, tend my lambs, tend my lambs and feed my sheep."
म्हजे मेंढरांक राख, म्हजे शेड्यांक राख.
And that was not only meant for Peter, but for those who would take up the keys and be his successor after him.
आनी हें न्हय फकत पेद्रूक, पूण पेद्रू आनी ताचे फाटल्यान येतल्या सगल्या फाटलावदारांक.
And if you want to know, the very first Christians believed in the chair of Peter.
आनी पयले क्रिस्तांव पेद्रूचे कोदेलीचेर तांचो विश्वास आसलो.
More than half of my book, Upon This Rock, is spent proving that the first Christians accepted Peter as the Pope.
हे म्हजे पुस्तकार आपण दीस रॉक बरयल्लें आसा कोण भाशेन कितलो लोक मानून घेता पेद्रूच्या फाटलावदारांक.
And I have quotes for the first 8 centuries of the church proving that from the very beginning they recognized the chair of Peter.
जायते जाणांनी पयल्या 8 शेकड्यांनी कोण भाशेन पाप साहेबाक मानून घेतलो, पाप साहेबा फाटल्यान येतल्यांक मानून घेतले ते हांगा आसा बरयल्लें.
The Protestants say we have the Bible alone. We don't need history.
प्रोटेस्टंट म्हणटात आमकां पवित्र पुस्तकूच पुरो, आमकां इतिहास गरज ना.
But even the development of the Bible is a part of history.
पण आमी जाणाव बायबल पर्यंत उदरगत जाली, मुखार गेली इतिहासा उदेशी.
The Bible, the New Testament, was not put together in a book for almost 400 years.
आमी जाणाव आख्खो आख्खो नवो करार घडोवन येवंक 400 वर्सां सुमार लागली.
But from the very beginning, before they even had a New Testament,
पूण तांचे लागीं नवो करार आसचे आदीं
the early Christians knew they had the chair of Peter.
पयलीं क्रिस्तांव जाण आहली की तांकां पेद्रू जावन आसा म्हूण तांचो वडील.
and that the chair of Peter was the source of unity for the church.
आनी पेद्रूची कोदेल जावन आसली एके भाशेन एकवटाची खुणां.
All Christians were to be loyal to the chair of Peter.
सगळे क्रिस्तांवांनी विश्वासी जावंक जाय आसलें पेद्रूचे कोदेलेक.
There were churches in Philippi, the church of Thessalonica, the church of Rome, but all of them were members of the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church.
फिलिपी पवित्र सभा, थेसलोनिका पवित्र सभा, हे सगळे पवित्र सभा जावन आसले विश्वासी हे पेद्रूचे कातोलीक पवित्र सभेक.
And that one church for the first 1,000 years
आनी पवित्र सभा पयले 1000 वर्सां मेरेन
did not divide up into separate groups,
वेगवेगळे जोम्यांनी फुटोंक ना,
but around the world remained one church.
1000 वर्सां पर्यंत एक पवित्र सभा जावन आसली.
Not just any church.
न्हय खंयचीच जोमो कसो.
It was known as the Catholic Church.
आनी सभेक म्हणटाली कातोलीक पवित्र सभा.
Now I've heard that some groups here in India, they break away and start a church on another street.
आम जाणा कोण भाशेन इंडियेक पर्यंत कातोल पवित्रले कोडसरून आपापले जोमे करतात ते.
And they justify it by saying,
आनी ते कित्याक घडलां ताचे विशीं उलोवन म्हणटात.
in the New Testament there's the church of Philippi and Thessalonica and Rome and Colossae and so on. And so we're dividing up to also be the church of Main Street, of this street, of that street.
आनी ते म्हणटात जे भाशेन आदी थेसलोनिकाची पवित्र सभा, फिलिपी रोमकारांची पवित्र सभा आसली, आमी तीच भाशेन फुटोवन हे जोमे घडटा आनी एके भाशेन एक सुवातेर एक पवित्र सभा घडटा.
And if the New Testament can have churches in all those places, we can start new churches too.
आनी जर नवे कोरारान इतले इगोर्जो आहल्यो, आमच्यांनी आनीक इगोर्जो ओ जोमे सुरू करूं येतात.
But there's one big difference.
पूण हातून एक व्हडली अंतर आसा.
All of the early churches were loyal to Peter and his successors and the bishops.
ह्यो सगल्यो पयल्यो सभा सदांच विश्वासी आहल्यो पेद्रूक आनी ताचे फाटल्यान येतल्या बिस्पांक.
The very first Christians recognized the authority of Peter and maintained a unity.
पयले क्रिस्तांनी सदांच मानून घेतली जबाबदारी व्हडपण ह्या पेद्रूची आनी ताचे फाटलादारांचे.
Let me give you one example.
तुमकां एक उदाहरण दिता.
Ignatius of Antioch was a first century Christian.
Ignatius of Antioch जावन आहलो पयले शेकड्यांतलो बिस्प साहेब.
And he was taught by Peter, John and Paul.
आनी ताणें पेद्रूचे आनी पावलूचे उलोवप पर्यंत आयकल्लें.
How did Ignatius know what to do?
इग्नेशियसाक कशें चलचें तें कोणें शिकयलें?
Did he have a New Testament he could read?
तेन्ना नवो कोरार नासलो.
There would be no New Testament for another 300 years.
आनी 300 वर्सां पर्यंत नवो कोरार येवचो नासलो.
How did Ignatius know what to do?
इग्नेशियस ऑफ एंटिओकाक कशें गमलें कितें करचें तें?
He knew what to do because he was taught.
ताका गमलें कित्याक ताणें ह्या अपोस्तलांची शिकवण आयकल्ली.
Personally by the apostles.
अपोस्तलांनी ताका ती शिकयल्ली.
And Ignatius said, do nothing
आनी इग्नेशियस म्हणटा आमकां कांयच करी नाकात
without the authority of your bishop.
तुज्या बिस्पाचे रोजे शिवाय.
He said, beware of the heretics.
तो म्हणटा धर्म विरोधी आड चतुर रावात.
They refuse to take the Eucharist because they deny it's the very same body of Jesus that died on the cross.
ते कोमन्यांक घेवंक सोदिनात कित्याक ते सोत मानिनात जेजू खरेंच उड्या सोऱ्याच्या रुपान हाजीर आसा म्हूण.
Those who rejected the Eucharist,
जी कोण परम संस्कार मानून घेनात,
Ignatius did not hesitate to call heretics.
इग्नेशियस तांकां धर्म विरोधी म्हणटालो.
I know we have to be sensitive to others, but it's still true today.
हांव जाणा दुसऱ्यांक लागून मातशें आमी चोत्राय उलोवंक जाय.
Those who leave the Catholic Church and reject the Pope and the Eucharist
जी कोण कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडटात, कोमन्यां मानून घेनात तीं
are just as heretical today as they were in the first century.
ती जावन आसात धर्म विरोधी जी पयल्या शेकड्यांत आसली.
Ignatius learned everything from the apostles.
इग्नेशियस सगळें शिकलो अपोस्तलांचे पांयाशी बसून.
And he was very clear that there were in the church, Catholic Church,
आनी तो जाणा आसलो की कातोल पवित्र सभेन
a bishop and priests and his deacons.
की आसात म्हूण बिस्प आनी पाद्री आनी दियाकन.
When I was a Baptist,
जेन्ना हांव बाप्तिस्त जाल्लो,
And I read all of these things from the first century.
आनी हांवें वाचले पयले शेकड्यांतान कश्यो वस्तू जाल्यो त्यो.
I asked myself, where is my bishop?
हांवें म्हाका प्रश्न केलो म्हजो बिस्पूय आसा.
I didn't have a bishop.
म्हाका बिस्पूत नासलो.
We didn't have priests.
आमकां पाद्रीच नासले.
What religion was I a part of?
कसलो धर्म हांव करतालो जाय.
It was different from the religion of the first century with the bishops.
हे हो म्हजो धर्म पयले शेकड्यांतले लोकांक वेगळो आसलो.
When did my new religion get started?
हो म्हजो धर्म नवो धर्म केन्ना सुरू जालो.
Why didn't anybody tell me I was on a raft and not on the ship?
कित्याक म्हाका कोणें सांगना की हांव फकत मोदेराचे कुडक्यार बसून उदकान आसा म्हूण.
And I realized I was in another sect or group apart from the Catholic Church Jesus founded himself.
आनी म्हाका गमलें की हांव नीज खरें कातोल पवित्र सभेंतलो भायर आसा म्हूण एका जोम्यान आसा म्हूण.
Which is why I'm a Catholic today.
आनी हाका लागून हांव आयज कातोल.
Now I want to touch very quickly on the issue of infallibility.
बापसाहेब चुकोंक जायना हाचे विशीं हांव आतां तुमकां समजणी दिता.
Oh, when I was a Protestant, I said, so your Pope is perfect?
हांव जेन्ना प्रोटेस्टंट आसलो हांव विचारतालो तुमचो पोप बापसाहेब सगळें सारकें करता.
So the Pope and the bishops are infallible? You mean they're perfect?
तुमी म्हणूंक सोदतात की बापसाहेब आनी बिसाहेब केन्नाच चुकोनात.
They know everything and don't do anything wrong?
ते सगळें जाणात आनी चुकी करिनात.
Why do you call him Holy Father?
कित्याक तुमी ताका पवित्र बाप भाग्यवंत बाप म्हणटात.
One time in the Philippines, I was in a group about twice this size.
एक फावट फिलिपीन आसलो आनी एक व्हडल्या जोम्याक उलयतालो.
And a young man stood up who had left the Catholic Church.
आनी एक तरणाटो उबो रावलो जाणें कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडलेली.
And he took a big chance by asking me a question.
आनी ताणें म्हाका एक प्रश्न केलो.
Why do you call the Pope Holy Father? Why do you call him Holy Father? He's a sinner.
तुमी बापसाहेबाक कातोल भाग्यवंत बाप कित्याक म्हणटात? तो एक पातकी.
He's not telling me anything I don't know. The Pope goes to confession every week. He knows he's a sinner.
बापसाहेब कुमसाराक घेता दोरसमानाक आनी तो जाणा पूण पातकी म्हूण.
So I said to the young man in the audience,
आनी हांवें त्या तरणाट्याक सांगलें,
young man, before you stand up and make a fool of yourself in front of 2,000 people,
तूं पिसो म्हूण दाखोवचे सुवातेर हे 2,000 लोकां मुखार
you should study your Bible more carefully.
तुजें पवित्र पुस्तक बारकायेन शिक.
All of the Catholics stood up and applauded that I was willing to challenge him.
सगळे कातोलकांनी ताळयो मारल्यो कित्याक हांव ताका आव्हान दिता म्हूण.
He had been attacking them for years along with all the other groups, always attacking the Catholics.
तो सदांच कातोलकांक आताक करी
And they were afraid of them.
आनी ते सगळे कातोल ताका भियेताले.
And they were glad finally someone stood up and spoke back to him.
आनी ती खुशाल जाली कित्याक कोणेच तरी ताका आव्हान दिलें म्हूण.
And I said, young man, before you make such a fool of yourself in front of so many people,
आनी हांवें म्हणलें तरणाट्या तूं पिसो म्हूण दाखोवचे आदीं पयलें
you should learn your Bible more carefully.
पवित्र पुस्तक तें बारकायेन शिकोंक जाय.
We call the Pope Holy Father for a good reason.
आमी बापसाहेबाक भाग्यवंत बाप म्हणटा आनी ताका कारणां आसात.
Sometimes words in the Bible have 1 or 2 or 3 meanings.
बायबलान असले उतरांक 1, 2, 3 अर्थ आसतात.
The word holy has 2 meanings.
आनी पवित्र हाका 2 अर्थ आसात.
It does mean sinless.
आनी पयलो म्हळ्यार तो कोतावीन पातोक ना.
But the second meaning of holy
पूण दुसरो अर्थ पवित्राचो
means to be consecrated or set apart for a holy purpose.
संस्कारलेलो वो कुशीन काडलेलो एका पवित्र कामाक.
That's why the Bible calls us holy or saints. It says that we are saints.
देखून पवित्र पुस्तक आमकां भाग्यवंत म्हणटा आमी पवित्र म्हणटा.
The word saints comes from the same word holy.
आनी सेंट्स भाग्यवंत हें उतर पवित्रांतूतलें येता.
Anytime somebody says I'm a saint, or Paul writes and says to the saints in Philippi,
जेन्ना पावलू सांत म्हणटा आनी फिलिपीचे सांत तांकां बरयता,
he is not saying I'm writing to all the sinless people.
तो म्हणूंक सोदिना की पातोक नासलेल्यांक हांव बरयतां.
If he was only writing to sinless people, none of us could listen.
आनी जर तो पातोक नासलेल्यांक बरयतालो कोणाक आमच्यांनी वाचूंक जायनासलें तें.
Because all of us are sinners.
कित्याक आमी सगळीं पातकी.
So how can we be called holy?
आनी आमकां पवित्र कशें म्हणूं जाता?
Because God has called us and set us apart for a holy purpose.
कित्याक देवान आमकां विसल्यात आनी कुशीन काडल्यान एका खेरीत कामाक.
So the two meanings of the word holy
म्हणटा दोन अर्थ पवित्र ह्या उतराचे
are sinless and consecrated, set apart.
खोताबीन पातक नासलो आनी कुशीन काडलेलो.
So I said, young man, the Pope is not sinless, but he is set apart and consecrated for a special purpose by God.
हांवें म्हणे तरणाट्या बापसाहेब पातका बिणे न्हय, पातक ना ताका न्हय, पूण ताका कुशीन काडला एका किरीत कामाक.
Therefore we call him Holy Father, and so should you.
देखून ताका आमी बागेवन पाप म्हणटा आनी तुवेंय तशेंच म्हणूंक जाय.
And he sat down and didn't say anything else.
आनी तो बसलो आनी कांयच म्हणूंक ना.
Do you know the Pope is the source of unity for all Christians?
जाणात तुमी पाप साहेब जावन आसा सगळ्या संवसारान क्रिस्तांवाची एकचाराची खुणा.
He's the source of unity for those who accept him as the Pope and by those who reject him.
तो जावन आसा एकवटाची खुणा जो लोक ताका मानून घेयना आनी घेतात तांकांय.
For us Catholics, we accept him as the head of the visible head of the church, and we accept him as unity.
आमी कातोल ताका मानून घेतात कित्याक तो जावन आसा देखून आमचो फुडारी आनी एकवटाची खुणा.
And for all of those who leave the Catholic Church and form groups outside,
आनी जी कोण कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडून भायल्यान हे जोमे करतात,
they cannot agree on anything
तांच्यांनी एकूय वस्तूचेर एकमत हाडूंक जायना.
except one.
एकूच.
The only thing they can all agree on is that they reject the authority of the Pope. So the Pope is their only source of unity too.
सो एकूच वस्ती मानून घेतात म्हळ्यार ती पाप साहेबाचेर आमी सोट मानना म्हणून पाप साहेब जावन आसा तांकांय एकवटाची खुणा.
Isn't it amazing how ironic that is? The infallibility of the Pope, very quickly.
पाप साहेब चुकी विणे शिकयता.
What does infallibility mean?
चुकी विणे शिकोवप म्हणजे कितें?
It does not mean that he is perfect or sinless.
हाचो अर्थ असो न्हय की तो पातक करिना वो तो पवित्र असो.
It does not mean he can predict what the weather will be tomorrow.
हाचो अर्थ असो न्हय फाल्यां हो तेतले पावस येतलो हें तो सांगूंक जाणा.
It does not mean that everything the Pope says or writes is infallible and correct.
पाप साहेब जें कितें उलयता सांगता तें सगळें चुकी विणे अशेंय न्हय.
It does not mean that he, let me put it this way, I'll start over. It doesn't mean that even when the Pope speaks, it will always be eloquent or timely.
जेन्ना पाप साहेब कितें उलयता तें हुशारकायेन ओ ते वेळा प्रमाणे अशें न्हय.
What it means is that he will never teach error.
जें कितें हाचे समजणी की पाप साहेब सदांच चुकी विणे शिकयता भावार्थाची वस्तू.
It's like a negative protection.
हें जावन आसा की भाशेन नेगेटिवली आमी प्रोटेक्शन.
When I'm talking to Father, I can say things and I can teach. If the Pope and he's talking to someone else, maybe in everything he said is not correct.
जेन्ना पाप साहेब कोणा लागीं उलयता तें घडये सारकें न्हय आसत.
But when the Pope sits in the chair of Peter,
पूण जेन्ना पाप साहेब एक कोदेलीर बसता आनी शिकयता
as the pastor of the universal church,
आख्खे संवसाराचो गवंडी कसो,
and he intends to define doctrine
आनी जेन्ना तो आमकां खिरीत शिकोवण शिकोवंक सोदता
by his own free will without a gun to his head,
आनी हें कोत्ता तो सगळे सोत्तेन आनी न्हय कसलो कोणाचे बोडान
under those particular conditions.
आनी ते वस्तू वेळार
When the Pope teaches, he will teach without error,
आनी हे भाशेन तो शिकोवण दिता तेन्ना तो चुकी विणे शिकयता
as protected by the Holy Spirit of God.
आनी देवाचो पवित्र आत्मो ताका चलयता.
Now my book has an imprimatur
ह्या म्हज्या पुस्तकाक इम्प्रिमातूर आसा
from my bishop,
म्हज्या बिस्पाचें.
and it says that within this book, I approve of this book.
आनी इम्प्रिमातूर म्हणजे हातून भावार्थ आड कांय वायट ना.
But he does not mean that he likes it or that it is well written.
पूण इम्प्रिमातूर दिवन तो सांगूंक सोदिना हें पुस्तक म्हाका बरें लागलां वो ना तशें न्हय.
He may think it's too long or too short or written sloppy.
ताका घडये तें लांब लागत वो मोठवें लागत वो चड बारीकसाणेन बरयलां अशें लागत.
Which it's not, by the way, it's a good book. But what the bishop means when he gives it his imprimatur
जेन्ना बिस्म साहेब ताका छापूं येता हें दिता
is that there is nothing in my book that is contrary to the Catholic faith or in error.
बिस्म साहेब जेन्ना छापूं येता दिता तो सांगूंक सोदता की ह्या पुस्तकान भावार्थ आड कांय ना.
That's what infallibility means, is that when the Pope teaches, there is no error, so you can trust him.
आणि इनफेलिबिलिटी म्हणजे हेच की बाप साहेब जेन्ना धर्मा विशीं बावरता विशीं शिकयता हे चुकी विणे तातूंत चुकी आसूंक जायना.
This infallibility also extends to the Pope together with the bishops in council.
आणि इनफेलिबिलिटी आमी म्हणटा हांव चुकी विणे ते लागता जेन्ना बाप साहेब हेर बिस्पां बरोबर आसता.
Any bishop on his own or even a national conference of bishops does not have the same infallibility.
आमी जाणाव एका बिस्म साहेबाक ओ एके राष्ट्रीय बिस्पांचे परिशदेक पर्यान हे इनफेलिबिलिटी ना.
But when all the bishops are together with the authority of the Pope, like in an ecumenical council, what they teach is infallible.
पूण जेन्ना सगळे बिस्म साहेब पाप साहेबा बरोबर एकठांय जातात एके विश्व सभेन ही शिकोवण दितात ती चुकी विणे.
Why did Jesus do it this way?
जेजून हे भाशेन कित्याक केलें जायत?
Because he wants one church.
कित्याक जेजूक जाय एक आपली पवित्र सभा आसलेली.
He doesn't want you wandering around wondering if it's right or who's true or who's telling you the truth.
जेजूक नाका सोत सांगता सोत आसा वो ना हे सांगू नाका आसलें.
You have so many thousands of groups out here. We do in America too.
इतले जमे आमी भायर पळयता.
They all want you to think they are right.
ते सदांच आपूण सारकें म्हूण सांगूंक सोदतात.
But the little group next door says they are right.
पूण दुसरो जो म्हणटा आमी सारके आहात.
And they act as though they are infallible.
आनी ते सांगूंक सोदतात की आमी चुकी विणे म्हूण.
40,000 little infallible popes running around.
40,000 चुकी विणे सांगतले भायले पाप साहेब आहात.
Where's the unity and the one church in that?
एके पवित्र सभेन हो एक चारकूय आसा.
This is why the world laughs at us.
देखून संवसार आमकां हांसता.
Jesus said, I pray that they will be one like you and I are one.
जेसून मागले आमी एक जावं सगळीं एक जावं जे भाशेन हांव आनी तूं एक.
I pray that they be visibly perfected in unity.
म्हाका जाय ती सगळीं एकचारान जेल्लीं.
Why?
कित्याक?
So that the world may know the Father sent the Son.
संवसाराक गोमन येवच्याक की बापान पुताक पाठोवन दिला म्हूण.
But if Christians do not have a unity among themselves, if they don't have a visible unity,
पूण जर तो क्रिस्तांमध्ये एकचार ना जाल्यार
then the world has the right to say the Father did not send the Son.
तेन्ना संवसार म्हणटलो की बापायन आपले पुताक धाडूंक ना म्हूण.
And that's what's happening in the world today, even India.
आनी हेच संवसारान आज पर्यंत घडटा.
With all of these little groups saying they're all the true Christian group, the world looks at them
आनी इतले जमे पडून संवसार तांकां पळयता आनी म्हणटा
and says, don't tell us you have the truth.
सांगू नाका आमकां की तुजे लागीं स्वता आसा म्हूण.
You can't even agree among yourselves.
तुमचेच मदें तुमचें एकवट ना.
When you can agree among yourselves, then come back and tell us you have the truth.
जेन्ना तुमचे मदें एकवट आसता तेन्ना येयात आनी आमकां स्वत कितें तें सांगात.
And like Mahatma Gandhi said, when all Christian groups are one, then India will bow at the feet of Jesus Christ in one day.
जे भाशेन महात्मा गांधी सांगले जेन्ना सगळे क्रिस्तांव एका मनाचे जातले सगळे जेजूचे पांयां पडटले म्हूण.
This is why Jesus wanted one holy Catholic and apostolic church.
हेका लागून जेजूक जाय आसली एक कातोलीक अपोस्तोलीक इग्रोस.
And why he appointed one shepherd who would build his church.
आनी देखून ताणें एका घोड्याक नेमलो.
Jesus builds his church, but he builds it with Peter and the bishops.
जेजू ही आपली सभा बांदता पेद्रू भोंवतणी बिस्पां भोंवतणी.
This is why Jesus wants one church so that the world will have to take notice.
देखून जेजूक जाय एक सभा कित्याक सगळो संवसार हे सभेचेर आपली नदर घालूंक.
And Paul writes to the Corinthians and says, I hear bad news about you.
पावलू कोरिंथकारांक बरोवन सांगता हांवें तुमचे विशीं वायट आयकलां.
That among you there are factions and differing groups.
की तुमचे मदें वेगवेगळे जमे आसात म्हूण.
This is not the way Jesus wants his church to be.
आनी हे जेजू हे भाशेन जाल्लें नाका.
And so these people have no business leaving the church and starting other groups because they deny the unity of what Jesus is doing in his church. Shame on them.
आनी पावलो म्हणटा तेका लॉस तुमकां कित्याक तुमचे मदें एकचार ना एकवट ना.
I know in other parts of India, Catholics are coming to Sunday Mass and then they're going to these other groups to learn the Bible.
हांव जाणा थोडे कडेन कातोल कायतारेचे मिसाक येतात आनी तांचे जोमे विधी वतात बायबल शिकोंक.
It starts out with saying, I know the Catholic Church is right, but I'm going to go over here and just get a little taste.
आनी हाची समजण अशी हांव जाणा कातोल पवित्र सभा सारकी आहा म्हूण पूण भायल्यान हांव कित्याची रूच घेवंक वेता.
They promise a good job or more food or something else, a benefit.
ते आमकां जायते भासयतात एक बरी सर्वीस बरें जेवण आनी हाका लागून आमी थंय पावता.
I will stay in the Catholic Church on Sunday morning, but the rest of the time I'm going to be over here because they're more friendly and they're nice and I like them and they study the Bible.
हांव आयताराचो कातोल पवित्र सभेन येता पूण हेरा दिसांनी हांव हे जोम्यांनी वेता कित्याक तो लोक बरी शिकवण दिता देखून.
In Pune, a man stood up in the back and asked me a question, and he says, I go to the Catholic Church on Sunday, but the rest of the week I go to the Baptist Church. He said, I go there because they're more friendly.
हांव थंय वेता एकलो मनीस म्हणूंक लागलो आयताराचो इगोर्जेन आनी हेर दिसांनी हेर कोडीन कित्याक ते बरे भाशेन म्हाका घेतात म्हूण.
I said, instead of leaving there to go where they're more friendly, you stay here and you be friendly.
हांवें म्हणलें भायर वचोन तेंचे बरी आमी जात घेवले परस भितर राव आनी आमी जात हांगा किल्लावन हाड.
Don't complain about the Catholic Church. Do something about it.
कातोल पवित्र सभेन सारकें ना म्हूण तक्रार दिनाका तूं कितेंय कर.
The priests and the bishops are busy enough. They have to bury you.
पाप साहेब बिस्म साहेब जायते पावटी तांकां जायते काम आसता.
They have to marry you.
तुमची कामां करची आसतात.
They have to baptize you.
तुमकां बातीस दिवचे आसात.
They have to feed you.
तुमकां जेवण दिवचें आसा पवित्र जेवण.
They have to listen to all your sins and forgive you.
तुमची सगळी पातकां भोगसूची आसात.
The bishops and priests are busy enough. Don't complain about the Catholic Church. You do something about it.
बिस्प आनी पाद्री जायते कामांनी ओकुपाद आसतात. कंप्लेन करिनाका तूं कितेंय कर आनी दाखय.
And I told this man, from now on, you come to church a half an hour early, and you stand in the back and you greet people when they come in.
हांवें मनशाक सांगलें तूं अर्देवर आदी यो आनी लोकांक नमान कर लोकांक बरें उतर दी.
And you say, we are a friendly parish.
आनी आमी बरी वेलकम करतली फिरकोस म्हूण दाखय.
We are so glad you are here.
हांव खुशी कित्याक तुमी सगळ्यांक आसात देखून.
And then get 4 or 5 more to join you.
आनी 4-5 जाणांक भितर सरून दी.
And when people come into the church,
आनी जेन्ना लोक इगोर्जेक येता
how are you today? Can we help you in any way? We are a family.
विचार तूं कसो आसाय कितेंय करूं येता तुका हेल्प करूं येता.
Do something yourself.
तूं कितेंय कर आनी दाखय.
Start a Bible study in the parish. Don't go out there for a Bible study. Start one in the parish.
तुझे फिरगोशींतूच बायबल स्टडी सुरू कर. भायर वचून शिको नाका बायबल.
Once you do this,
हें तुमी करची ना.
and you start being friendly with people when they come in and welcoming them and doing Bible studies,
आनी हें करूंक बायबल स्टडी चड गरजेची.
pretty soon the people that left
जायतो लोक कुशीन वेतलो.
will say, oh my, I'm going back because they're more friendly there now.
आनी जो लोक भायर सरलो तो म्हणटलो हांव परतून येता कित्याक आतां ती बरी जाल्यार देखून.
When the Catholic Church does, when the laity does what she's supposed to do, there is no need for those other groups.
कातोल पवित्र सभा जेन्ना आपूण निटायर येता तेन्ना हे जोम्यांची गरज पडची ना.
I know in America that most people that leave and start their own groups,
हांव जाणा अमेरिकेक जायतो लोक जो कातोल पवित्र सभा सोडून वेता
one of the main reasons
एक राजांव जावन आसा एक कारण
is to get their own money.
आपले पयशे जोडूंक.
When someone teaches a Bible study or preaches in the Catholic Church, they don't get paid.
जेन्ना कातोल पवित्र सभेन कोणूय सरमोन सांगता कितेंय शिकयता तुका कांय मेळना.
But if they go out and rent a building, then they make money.
पूण जर तर तुवें जोम्यांनी गेलो तुका जायते पयशे मेळटात.
In the Philippines, a man can be a good preacher and leave the Catholic Church.
फिलिपीन देशान जर तर भायर तुवें जोम्यांनी गेलो जाल्यार
And in 1 or 2 years, have 1,000,000 rupees in his pocket.
एका 2 वर्सांत तूं बरो देवाच्या उतराचो परगुटना जाल्यार 1-2 मिलियन जोडूं येतात.
And you often hear, if you come to our church, there will be blessings and God will give you riches.
आनी हे जोमे जायते फावट म्हणटात तूं आमचे सोबीन आयलो जाल्यार देवाचो आशिर्वाद आसतलो.
The only guy that gets the riches is the preacher.
आनी जो कोण गिरेस्त जाता तो खरें म्हळ्यार हो परगुटपी.
And pretty soon he lives in a mansion with a Mercedes limousine.
आनी तो बरे एका बांगलोन रावता बरे Mercedes मोटर घेवन.
And I don't say that all the people do it for that reason, but many of them do.
हांव म्हणिना सगळीं जीं भायर सोडटात ते जोम्यांनी वेतात तीं हाकाच लागून करतात म्हूण ना पूण जायतीं जाणां.
Do not be enticed to follow them away from the church.
बुलोवन वचो नाकात पवित्र सभा सोडी नाकात.
In fact, your job
खरें म्हळ्यार तुमचें काम
is to remain faithful and to bring them back.
जावन आसा कातोल पवित्र सभेक विश्वासी रावंक आनी कोडसुल्ल्यान ताका परतून भितर हाडूंक.
When we went to the Philippines, the parishes started apologetics clubs.
फिलिपीन देशान अपॉलजेटिक भारता विशीं डिफेंड करपाची
And they meet together every week, and they work together to learn how to defend the faith.
आणि ती सुमानाचे सुमाना मेवतात आणि कोण भाशेन बाबात सांबाळचो हाचे विशीं भासाभास करतात.
And under the authority of their bishop, they keep the people faithful in the church.
आणि बिस्पाचे खाला ती लोकांक इगोर्जेन भितर दवरतात विश्वासी.
And they go out and debate the others and bring them back in.
आणि हेरां लागीं भासाभास करून उलोवन तांकांय भितर हाडटात.
One of the reasons, and I'll close with this, why I believe the Pope is infallible.
एक कारण हांव सत मानता की पाप साहेब चूक करिना म्हूण
is because he does not function just as a man.
कित्याक तो मनीस कसोच चलना.
When Peter got out of the boat to walk on the water,
जेन्ना पेद्रू बोटींतलो भायर ओड्यांतलो भायर सरलो आनी उदका वयर चलोंक लागलो,
he did it just as a man.
ताणें मनीस कसो तें केलें.
He got out and walked a little way, and his faith wavered.
मनीस कसो तो उदकाचेर चल्लो, ताचो भावार ताल्लो
He sank into the water.
आनी तो बुडटा म्हूण ताका गमलें.
Then what happened?
मागीर कितें जालें?
Jesus reached down and took Peter by the hand.
जेजू आयलो, पेद्रूक हात दिलो आनी उखल्लो.
People make fun of Peter for falling into the water.
आनी हेरांनी पेद्रूची फकाणां केलीं कित्याक तो उदकान बुडटालो देखून.
But none of us would have even tried. None of us would have even tried to walk up.
आमकांय कोणाकूय ते भाशेन आमची परीक्षा जावं येताली.
Peter jumped out in faith, but he failed.
पेद्रू भावार्थान भायर सरलो पूण चुकलो.
But when Jesus took Peter's hand,
पूण जेन्ना जेजून ताका हात दिलो,
Peter walked on the water all the way back to the boat.
पेद्रू
Did you think of that?
हाताक धरून नव्यान ओड्याशी गेलो.
Peter could walk on water as long as Jesus held his hand.
पेद्रूच्यान उदकाचेर चलूंक जातालें कित्याक जेजून ताचो हात धरलेलो.
Because I don't think Jesus just dragged him under the water all the way back to the boat.
जेजून ताका उदकांतल्यान ओडून व्हरोन ओड्यान व्हरोंक ना.
Jesus walked him back.
जेजून ताका कालते फुड्यान हाताक धरून व्हेलो.
And this is what infallibility is. The man is weak.
आनी खरें म्हळ्यार इन्फेलिबिलिटीचो समज असो बापसाहेब हुस्कोत मनीस.
But Jesus promised to hold Peter by the hand and take care of him.
पूण जेजूचो हात बापसाहेबाचेर आसा आनी बापसाहेबाच्या हाताक धरून जेजू ताका चलयता.
And Peter had a big mouth.
पेद्रू उलोवपी आसलो
He was always blurting things out, and sometimes they were wrong.
आनी तो व्हडल्यान जायते फावटी जायते वस्तू सांगतालो.
And people said, how can Peter be infallible if he's always blurting things out? Sometimes they're wrong.
आनी बापसाहेब कसो चुकीविणे, पेद्रू कसो चुकीविणे हे भाशेन उलयता आसतना
Because the Holy Spirit had not yet come. He had not yet received the keys.
ताचेर पवित्र आत्मा अजून येवंक नासलो, ताच्या हातीन चाव्यो दिवंक नासल्यो.
But when Jesus says to Peter, whatever you bind on earth, I will ratify in heaven.
जेन्ना जेजू पेद्रूक म्हणटा तूं कितें संवसारांत बांदशी तें स्वर्गार बांदलेलें जातलें.
How can you do that? How can you give this kind of promise to a man with a big mouth?
असली भासावणी कशी पेद्रूक करूं येता जो एके भाशेन सदांच उलोवपी आसलो.
The only way Jesus could give Peter this promise
फकत एके भाशेन जेजूच्यान भासावणी पाडूं येताली ती म्हळ्यार
is if he intended to keep a close watch on Peter's mouth.
तो पेद्रूचेर ताचें थोंड बंद करतलो आसलो.
And that is infallibility.
आनी खरें म्हळ्यार हांगा जावन आसा इन्फेलिबिलिटी.
We are very, very fortunate as Catholics because we know the truth.
आमी खरेंच आमकां अभिमान भोगूंक जायो. आमी कातोलीक म्हूण कित्याक आमी सत कितें तें जाणां.
I joke around sometimes and say,
हांव केन्नाय फकाणां करता आनी म्हणटा
it is very hard to be humble when you are a Catholic.
कातोलीक आसतना ल्हान खालतो जावंक आगोड.
Because we have the truth.
कित्याक आमचे लागीं सत आसा.
But others said, how arrogant of you.
पूण कितलें तुजें बोडाय दाखोवप.
Who are you to say you have the truth?
पूण बोडायेन सांगप म्हजे लागीं सत आसा म्हूण.
I don't say that I have the truth.
हांव म्हणना म्हजे लागीं सत आसा म्हूण.
Jesus says I have the truth.
जेजू म्हणटा हांव जावन आसा सत.
Because he's the one that appointed the rock and gave the keys and made the promise.
कित्याक ताणें भासावणी केली, ताणें कोडपार आपली सभा बांदली, ताणें चाव्यो दिल्यो.
Speaking to his apostles and not to everyone.
आपल्या अपोस्तलां लागीं उलोवन आनी न्हय सगळ्यां लागीं.
Therefore he is saying this to the leaders of the church.
देखून तो पवित्र सभेच्या वडिलांक म्हणटा
All authority is given to heaven, given to me.
सगळी पदवी संवसारान म्हाका दिल्ली आसा.
Speaking to the apostles.
अपोस्तलांक उलोवन तो म्हणटा
Therefore go out and teach and baptize.
देखून भायर वचात आनी सुवर्तमान पुरगटात
And I will be with
आनी हांव सदां काळ तुमचे सांगात आसतलों.
I will be with you knew what I was going to say. This is pretty good when a translator knows what you're going to say ahead of time. He said he would be with the leaders of the church until the end of time. If he was only going to be with Peter as long as he was dead, then how could he be with him the rest of the time?
आनी तो म्हणटा सदां काळ संवसार सोंपोपर्यंत हांव तुजे सांगात आसतलों पेद्रू भियेनाका.
He was with the apostles until they died.
तो आपोस्तलां सांगात आसतलो ते मरोपर्यंत.
And he continued to be with the church and the leaders through their successors.
आनी तो पवित्र सभेन आसतलो पेद्रू फाटल्यान आयलेले पाटलावदारां दिशी.
And the very first Christians knew about succession.
आनी पयली क्रिस्ती सभा जाण आसली हे पाटलावदार म्हळ्यार कोण ते.
Because Saint Clement of Rome,
क्लेमेंट ऑफ रोम बरोवन अशें म्हणटा
who was taught by Peter and ordained by Peter,
तो जावन आसलो पेद्रूचो पाटलावदार आनी पेद्रून ताका संस्कारणी दिल्ली.
said that the apostles taught us themselves
तो म्हणटा आपोस्तलांनी आमकां शिकयला म्हूण
that when one of us bishops dies,
जेन्ना एकलो आमचो बिस्पा मदलो मोत्ता
we should appoint another man to the sacred office, succeed him to the sacred office.
आमी दुसऱ्याक नोमयारूंक जाय ताचे सुवातेर.
And so from the beginning of the church,
आनी इगर्जेचे सुरवातेक तावन
the apostles laid hands on bishops to succeed them.
आपोस्तल हेरांचेर आपले हात धरून दुसऱ्यांक नोमयाताले.
And they laid hands on more bishops who laid hands on more bishops.
आनी तांणी दुसऱ्यांक वेंचून काडले आनी तांचेर हात दवरले.
And 2,000 years ago, bishops laid hands on Archbishop Philip.
आनी 2000 वर्सां उपरांत आर्चबिस्पान आमचे नवे आर्चबिस्पाचेर आपले हात.
And he can trace his ordination all the way back to the apostles.
आनी हे ताची संस्कारणी सारके आमी 2000 फाटीं वचूं येता.
What group out there can claim that?
हे जोम्यांनी कोणाच्या भाशेन म्हणूं येता
The church is a mature man.
खरेंच पवित्र सभा आमची व्हडली.
The sects are still in nappies. And so I quit this section on the Pope.